Welcome back to Reviews by Hunter. That's me, I'm Hunter. So today we actually have our first ever review that was recommended to me by a subscriber and friend, Mrs. Hannah. Another big shout out to Mrs. Hannah. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I'm excited to review your movie recommendation, Annihilation. So Annihilation was a movie from 2018. It's directed by Alex Garland. I actually reviewed Alex Garland's Warfare earlier this year that I really liked. So I was excited to watch this one. Annihilation is a sci-fi horror film that stars Natalie Portman as Lena, who plays a biologist who studies cell division. So really the movie kicks off with Lena is missing her husband. Her husband's been missing for a year and she doesn't know what happened to him. He then suddenly comes back, but he can't explain where he's been. Well, turns out he's like super sick and starts spitting up blood and is like, his organs are failing, is what they say while he's in the ambulance. And this leads us to the story of Lena going on this expedition to an area called Area X, or called the Shimmer. It's where Lena's husband had gone to before, but he comes back changed. So the Shimmer is this area that is supposedly, potentially, of alien origin, and it's an area where they've sent a bunch of different people, soldiers, scientists, researchers, but nobody ever comes back except for Lena's husband, Kane, who is played, I think I already told you that, Kane is played by Oscar Isaac, who also had a role in Moon Knight. I like that actor. Okay, so Lena and this group of other three women are exploring the Shimmer, or Area X. And that's, like, I could almost end the review there, almost. I really wanted to love this movie, but it is hard to get through, man. It's really hard to get through. It's 2 hours long, and literally, so Lena, Natalie Portman's character, and the rest of them that honestly don't have a lot of character development throughout the movie. They try to give Lena a little bit of character development, but it's not done really well. So I end up like forgetting their names. There's not enough to attach myself to the characters. And they are just exploring this area, the Shimmer. They wake up there and time has already distorted. They're like, I looked through our food rations and it looks like we've actually been here for 4 days, but nobody can remember setting up camp and nobody can remember what they were doing the past 4 days. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But then it's just so empty. They're just walking around and talking and walking around and talking and nothing's happening. We find out that this place is genetically mutating everything within the Shimmer. So, I mean everything. Humans, plants, the environment, everything's being changed. We see people, eventually, that have been what looks like genetically mutated to turn into flowers. We saw, really the first action scene is almost an hour into the movie. And it's where they are, again, exploring, walking around, not doing much. A lot of talking. I just watched this movie and I'm struggling to remember what happened. I'm so sorry, but an alligator grabs one of the girls by their backpack and pulls her into the water. They manage to get her out, and then they shoot the alligator. And it turns out that its DNA has started to genetically change. Like, instead of regular teeth, there's like shark teeth inside of the alligator. Even this scene was like, meh. I paused the movie at an hour and I was like, nothing is happening. Literally nothing is going on. I was a little bored. So, okay, let's get into like some of the things maybe I did like about the movie. Really, mostly was the visuals. The movie looks good. The CGI looks fine. There's a lot of pretty scenes. There's a lot of scenes that look good. And there's also a lot of like psychedelic, almost trippy looking scenes later on in the movie that that again, it's flashy, it looks cool. I just thought that I have no reason to care about these visual effects when I don't care about the characters that much, and there's little to no action throughout the film. They get attacked by a genetically mutated bear at one point, and the bear does like eat half the face off of one of the girls that is a part of the expedition. Like that part was pretty cool. But like there's just not much going on in the film throughout the whole thing. Like yeah, so okay. One thing I don't like is that this is a sci-fi horror, but it's not scary at all. And the sci-fi element is it's mostly in the visuals. Like, there's not a lot of them fighting against the alien or anything like that. Gosh, at the end of the movie, Lena is she's being interviewed. She's recalling the events of what happened by Benedict Wong's character. Again, I forgot the names of the characters in this movie. I wrote it down somewhere. His character is played by Lummox. He's interviewing her about what happened within the Shimmer. And he asks her, what did the alien want from you guys? And she's like, I don't think it wanted anything. She says that it was just changing everything. I don't think it was dangerous. It was just changing things, which I thought was kind of lazy, writing-wise, and a little boring. This movie definitely is trying to like be thought-provoking throughout the whole thing. As they're in the Shimmer, Natalie Portman's character Lena and the rest of the girls are slowly losing their minds. Their minds are slowly deteriorating, but so is their physical selves. Tessa Thompson's character at one point says that she doesn't want to fight against whatever this is, and she doesn't want to run from it. She's just going to accept it. And she turns into one of the humans that just becomes a flower, and that's that. You have a scene near the end of the movie where another character named Dr. Ventress, like, she has a cool visual scene where she almost transforms into light, or maybe space, or something. Some kind of otherworldly creature. It looks really cool, but again, I can't watch a movie for 2 hours where they're just walking around and nothing's happening. They barely shoot their guns. They're not fighting against anything. This movie was very much, it's by Alex Garland, so I think he wants this to be like a really smart, like thought-provoking film. But the problem is, there's nothing. You didn't give me anything to think about because nothing happens. And the closest I could think of is maybe he's trying to give a metaphor regarding sickness, because Natalie Portman's character Lena studies the division of cells, and there's a lot of visuals of that happening in the film. So I thought maybe they're trying to show a metaphor for like sickness and, you know, what goes on there. But I just didn't enjoy this film very much, man. And it's actually got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe there are people that liked this movie more than me. Maybe they understood it more than me. Maybe the meaning of this film just goes over my head. But tapes of Natalie Portman's, I keep calling Natalie Portman, of Elena's husband. There was some tape left behind labeled for whoever finds it. And it shows Kane, the husband, he cuts open the stomach of one of the soldiers, and then removes it. It almost looks like a square-shaped cut, or a rectangle-shaped cut. And his organs inside are moving around. Something inside of him is like living and moving around. It almost looks like a snake was just swirling around his intestines. That part was pretty cool. I like that. But again, we never really learn what the Shimmer was there for. All we know is that if it keeps expanding, it would eventually annihilate everything by genetically changing the DNA of the world itself. But that doesn't happen. Lena comes across what appears to be the alien. The alien isn't hostile towards her, it's just mirroring her. And Eventually, Lena grabs a grenade, a phosphorus grenade, puts it in the hand of the alien, kills it, sets it on fire, burns the lighthouse down where the alien was. I guess that was its main staying place. It also turns out that her husband died with a phosphorus grenade. They saw it on the tapes, but then it pans to this because the alien can like take the form of another person. So the husband, the Kane that came back, isn't actually her husband. But even that felt like, at that point I didn't care. It was such a slow burn with such little payoff and such. I think that the cast does a good enough job with the script that they're given, but they aren't given much to work with. Even Natalie Portman's not given much to work with. And it just leads to a very sluggish film. If I had to give it a rating, overall, I'd give this like a 4.5 out of 10. I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it very much. There's just not enough substance in the movie. And I can't give it a high score based off good visuals alone. I just watched this movie and I'm struggling to think of actual plot points that happen. Not much. In 2 hours, not much. You know, you can have a deeper, thought-provoking movie, but it still has to be a good movie. And this one just maybe it went over my head. There's not much more I can say about it. So that's all I have for Annihilation, the 2018 sci-fi horror film. It's just a slog to get through. But let me know what you thought about it. What did you like about it? Did you notice anything differently that I maybe didn't? I don't know, man. Not my favorite Alex Garland film. Yeah. The budget was 40 to 55 million. The movie made back around the budget. So financially, it wasn't a success. Was not a success. Had to at least double its budget to be a success. But I watched it on Amazon Prime through Paramount Plus, but I had to rent it. So if you're interested in checking it out. But again, thank you for my first ever subscriber, Mrs. Hannah, again for allowing me to review this movie. Sorry that I